Hi everyone, bienvenidos todos. Welcome everyone to Bilingual Song and Story Time. Me llamo Señorita Camila. My name is Miss Camille. And today, of course, I'm going to tell y'all a story and then we're going to sing a couple of songs. But first, I want to talk about some key words that have to do with the story I'm going to tell y'all today. Primero vamos a hablar de unas palabras claves que tienen que ver con la historia que ustedes van a oír más tarde. So our words for today they're right here. And as I go through them, remember to repeat them back to me. And then later when you hear them in the story, see if you can remember the Spanish versions of the words when you hear the English versions. Okay, so our first word is airplane. La primera palabra es airplane. En español es el avión. Airplane is el avión. And next one is book. It's a good one to know. Book is el libro. Book is el libro. And the next one is alien, like a space alien. And this one is a little bit hard to say in Spanish. It's a little long, but the characters in the story are aliens, so these are good to know. La palabra es el extraterrestre. Alien or space alien es el extraterrestre. All right, and then the next word is to play. It's an action, it's a verb, something you do. Y la palabra en español es jugar. To play es jugar. And then our last word for today is to eat. Y la palabra en español es comer. To eat es comer. So these are our important words for the story today. The story is actually called What the Earthlings Do, and like I said, the characters are aliens. Los personajes de la historia son extraterrestres. And y'all are going to hear the aliens explain how Earthlings do things on Earth. So without further ado, I'm going to get to the story, but I hope y'all will pop back in after it's over so that we can sing a couple of songs together. At the end of a lovely day on Mars, Mr. Goblack sat down to read a bedtime story to his children, Stella and Cosmo. Their big black eyes gleamed as he reached for a book called What the Earthlings Do. As he opened the book, Mr. Goblax asked,
"Do you two ever wonder what life is like on Earth?"
The children nodded excitedly. Mr. Goblax showed them the first page.
"Wow, Earthlings have such colorful skin,"
said Stella.
"That's not their skin, that's called clothing,"
Mr. Goblax told his daughter.
"Does it protect them?"
Cosmo asked.
"Sort of. It keeps their soft skin from being burned by the sun, and it can keep them warm when it's cold out, but they mostly use it to decorate their bodies. They can also put dye in the hair on their heads and hang shiny metal from their ears if they want more decoration."
"Can I hang some shiny metal from my antennae?"
"Maybe when you're older,"
her father replied. Mr. Goblax turned the page.
"What do you think they're doing?"
Stella and Cosmo studied the picture for a moment before Stella came up with a guess.
"Is it some kind of game? It looks sort of like Astro Ball. Is this how Earthlings play sports?"
Cosmo looked closer.
"This game looks weird. Where are their jetpacks?"
"You're right. It's called basketball. It's kind of like Astro Ball, except the players don't have jetpacks, so it's not as easy to get the ball through the net."
Cosmo said, quietly.
"Well, that sounds boring."
Mr. Goblax chuckled and turned the page. The next page was even more confusing.
"What are they doing?"
Stella asked.
"What are they putting in their mouths? Is that how they talk to each other?"
That's how they get their nutrition. They can't just absorb nutrition with their tentacles. They have to put things in their mouths and let that pass through their bodies."
Ew!
Both of the children squirmed and laughed at such a funny idea.
"It is sort of gross, isn't it?"
Mr. Goblax agreed.
"Maybe that's why they touch the food with the metal utensils instead of picking it up. But it must not be too gross, because they like to sit together in groups while they do it."
What's that machine?
Stella asked, looking at the next page.
Does it dig holes? Can you ride on top of it?
Mr. Goblax pointed and said,
Earthlings use these metal boxes with wheels on them to travel. They get inside and roll over stone paths to get where they want to go.
Cosmo piped up.
That's silly. Then they can only go where the stone paths are.
Mr. Goblax pointed to another machine on the page.
They also have these flying devices that look like big metal birds. They can go up in the air instead of on the paths.
Cosmo's eyes glittered.
I'd like to fly on a big metal bird.
The last page in the book showed a scene that looked familiar to the children. Stella pointed and said,
That looks like what we do when we sleep.
Mr. Goblax smiled.
That's right. The Earthlings might not have sleep pods as nice as ours, but they still like to curl up in blankets to sleep, just like we do.
Cosmo yawned. Stella slowly blinked and rubbed her eyes. Mr. Goblax said,
It looks like we're all ready for our sleep pods now.
The children nodded as he closed the book. Alright, so I hope y'all enjoyed that story, and now we're just going to recap it a little bit, and then of course we'll sing a couple of songs together before I let y'all go for the day. So today's story was about the alien dad that was explaining to his kids about the way we do things on Earth and how it's different than what they do on Mars. And after explaining a few things that the Earthlings do that are different than what they do, they actually find out that they have something in common with the Earthlings. And it just kind of goes to show that that it's interesting to get to know different people, because even though you might seem really different, you'll always find something that you have in common. La historia de hoy se trata de un padre, un extraterrestre, que les explica a sus hijos sobre el estilo de vida de los habitantes de la Tierra y cómo es diferente de la vida en Marte, en otro planeta. Y después de hablar de unas cosas que los habitantes de la Tierra hacen que son diferentes de lo que hacen en la otra planeta, descubren que tienen algo en común con los habitantes de la Tierra. Así que la lección es que vale la pena conocer a gente diferente, porque lo diferente que seamos, siempre podemos tener algo en común. So with that, the song that we're going to sing today is actually going to be Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which is not so much an alien song as it is just an outer space song. And you might already know the words, but if you don't, we do of course always have them in the caption of the video, so make sure you look up if you need a little help with the lyrics. And as usual, we are going to sing it twice through in English and twice through in Spanish. Vamos a cantar la canción Estrellita, ¿dónde estás? 2 veces en inglés y 2 veces en español. Y como siempre, la letra está en el título de este video. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with the English version of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. If y'all will excuse me for just one moment. Please don't mess with my tripod. Thank you. Alright. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right, now we're going to sing it in Spanish, 2 veces en español. Estrellita, ¿dónde estás? Quiero verte cintilar en el tierra sobre el mar, un diamante de verdad. Estrellita, ¿dónde estás? Quiero verte cintilar. Estrellita, y'all so much for singing that with me. We do, of course, have one more song before we sign off for the day, and that's going to be our goodbye song. Now, if this is your first time joining us for Bilingual Song and Storytime, you might not know this one already, but it's a pretty short, very easy song, all in Spanish, and all y'all have to do is repeat what I say. Ustedes van a repetir lo que canto. So I'll sing a line, and then you'll sing it back, and I'll sing another line, you'll sing that one back. You get the idea. So, when I sing, for example, Adios, amigos, you're gonna sing back, Adios, amigos. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Adios, amigos. Ya me voy. Me dio mucho gusto estar con ustedes. Adios. Goodbye. All right, so thank y'all so much for joining me for this week's Bilingual Song and Story Time. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see y'all at our other programs soon. Make sure you keep checking back on Facebook to see all of the new ones, and have a great rest of your day.